2011 Ford Taurus SHO. We are going to change the Serpentine belt. There's the part number from Motorcraft. So what we got to do is lift this corner of the vehicle. We're going to take some of the splash shield out to access the belt. It's passenger side, front. So I have a wheel lock here. So what I'm going to do is, while the wheel's still on the ground, I'm not going to put an impact on it. Just take my breaker and get this guy off. I'm going to lift the vehicle and put a jack stand underneath. The corner is off the ground. Forgot to show, it's a 19 millimeter. I'll use my impact for the rest of these. You don't use them on the wheel locks because they'll strip them. The wheel is off, and this is the portion of the splash shield we're going to remove. It's got 4 Phillips heads and 3 Christmas trees. I've removed the 4 clips that had the Phillips head. So really, you just loosen them off till the screw almost comes out, and then as you go to pull it outwards, this part can compress, and you pull it right out. I'm actually going to leave these 3 here, because a lot of times Christmas trees don't want to go back, even though I have a big package of them floating around. I'm just going to flip this up as needed. And you can see back here that I now have access to the crank pulley, and the rest of the system is right about here. So I'll access it from underneath. I am not going to show taking the underbody, the under engine panel off, the aero panel, because that's in a few other videos. But it's basically 4 clips, turn counterclockwise, quarter turn, and that whole thing will drop out. It's difficult to record here, but underneath the vehicle on the passenger side, here's the belt. As I showed earlier, there's actually a hole in the belt in a different post. So we'll come in from the top, I believe, to loosen up the tensioner and then pull this off. I don't know if this kit still exists. It's probably 20 years old, but it served me well. So we'll see if I have the right adapters in here. Otherwise, I have a whole set of crow's feet. I believe it's just going to drop into this guy right here, and I won't need anything. It's pretty difficult to see, but the tensioner is right. I'll try to point with my finger. Right there in that square hole is one from the top you can access. There's actually another hole on the bottom that I was able to get my tool into. You can just see it there with the long bar. I'll show the view from the bottom. So it's pretty much pointing straight down right now. And oh, this isn't going to work well. You have to come straight up, just aft of this pulley, and then I'm going to push towards the rear of the car to loosen up the belt. So I'm probably not going to be able to record this, but what I'm going to do is push towards the rear and then pull the belt outboard towards the wheel well to get it off. Just to be a little more clear on how I actually got this off, I pushed the bar towards the rear, came in through the fender well, and then pushed the belt towards the engine, not outboard. I pushed it inboard, and it slipped right off of this pulley. The bar is kind of long, so as you push it to the rear, it pushes the belt inboard, and you can't get it off the large groove on the pulley. So you had to go for the smooth pulley that doesn't have that groove and push it towards the center of the car. So I'm just going to roll the belt off now. Nothing special there, and I'm not going to record that. I just walked the belt off. A few minor things. So this part is peeling here. Doesn't really impact the rubber. And then coming around, the real reason I changed it is because there was actually this hole in the belt, which I've never seen in my life. I probably changed a dozen of these. Not too far off from there. I'm trying to find it. There was one spot where there was just a lateral slash in the belt as well. So I'll start staging for the new one and go from there. new belt and old belt here. I am going to take a look at the pulleys, try to wipe them off if I can, if there's anything on them. Just a reminder when you go to put a Serpentine belt back on, if the pulley is smooth, that's going to ride on the back side of the belt, and if the pulley has ribs on it, it's going to ride on the, I'll call it the Serpentine side. I have the belt loosely installed here. You can't see, but up in the back on the foremost part of the vehicle, it's around the alternator pulley, around the AC compressor, and it's kind of half on the crank pulley. And what I've done is I've taken it and pushed it, just like I took it off, I pushed it behind the tensioner. So I'm going to push the tensioner forward or to the rear of the vehicle. Sorry with my bar. Slip it over here and then drag it over the top there. Okay, the belt is on. It was a real pain. I had to use an attachment. You can see that zigzag shape to get it on, and then an adapter, which was not part of that set. So I'll pull this out and show how it came together, but it's a lot easier if you have a second person to help. So this is the arrangement I had to use to get the belt on. That's a 1/2 inch to 3/8 adapter, mostly because the tool had a male 1/2 inch there. And then I had to use this at an angle to be able to swing the bar. Okay, underbody tray is back in. Looking at these, 2 of these are slots and 2 of these are holes. So we want to do the 2 with the holes first and then the slots. So the 2 with the holes were secured. Remember, it's just going in a plastic, so don't over tighten it. And you can see where the hole's off center, that's why you have the slots here. So I'll do these guys next. That part of the splash shield's back in place. I'm going to get the tire up. All right, the wheel's on. Starting these up by hand. I'll get the wheel lock on. Hand tight. I'll use my impact just to draw these on, but I'm not gonna, really secure them there. Then I'll get my torque wrench out. I've got my torque wrench set to 40 foot-pounds. I'm only gonna do this to help draw the wheel on a little bit better. Go around in star pattern. And the last one you're going to do is the wheel lock. And when I finally torque these down, the regular lug nuts will be at 100, 105 foot-pounds, somewhere around there. And this wheel lock can only go to about 90. So now that I went to 40, I'll lower the car until the wheel just touches the ground. I'll do about 60 or 70 foot-pounds. Then I'll go to 90 and then 100. The 4 normal lug nuts are at 100 foot-pounds. I did this one at 90 for the wheel lock. Just double checked it there. And we're done. I'll drive this around and I'll check the wheel torque, after a few miles. And what I didn't show is I started up the engine in the middle here just to make sure the belt was seated before I buttoned everything up. But that's the end of this.